class and I did all the good ones.
Oh, we're live now.
We're officially live. We also don't have.
But he's home.
Okay.
Maybe who's running.
Conduct a meeting.
I just see somebody running. She would be here. That back door is locked.
So I don't know.
Yes. Very intimate.
Mary Ann though.
Mary Ann replied and said she was gonna be here.
She'll be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The parking lot's pretty full.
I just parked across the street because I knew.
We started.
Well,
Let it be. It's always real convenient.
okay.
The doctor. That's why I sent the email out because I wasn't sure if I was something. So I need to make sure that everybody else is.
Emily and Liz, I'm the new planning director.
Hello, nice to meet you. We need COVID and flu. Yeah. Okay. I think we're live as well. Are we live?
Yes.
Is this the microphone?
This is the microphone.
It's
Sweet. It should pick up. Okay, so welcome everybody to the November Historical District Commission meeting. I'm Emily Walter, the chair, and we will just go around the room and do a roll call. And I guess we will start here.
I'm Liz Hamilton.
I'm Jenny Davis.
And Shelby Fiegel. Okay, and that's it, right? So Shane is sick and Marion said she'll be here, so she must be running late, but we do have 4, which is a quorum. So we can go ahead and get started. So what we'll do is we're gonna go in order on the agenda and, why is my agenda not pulling up? Yes. This is what's wrong with electronics. Okay, here we go. So thank you. So public hearing item number 1 is 8:20. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We need to do approval of minutes for August 28th.
I apologize, but they are in Tara's inbox along with the September minutes.
Okay.
And October and November will be in her inbox tonight.
Okay, so do we
will
want to just,
approve those at December in bulk?
yeah, we'll just do that in bulk then. All right, so just need to, I guess we need a motion to push it.
I'll motion to delay the approval of minutes until December.
Okay,
Well, second.
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay. All right, so first on the agenda is in the Robinson Historic District, which is 824 Davis Street. Who do we have here to speak in favor of that?
Ivo, it's a presentation, is that what you're asking? I'm Ivo Jones. I'm one of the designers for Miss Hope. This is the homeowner
Okay,
to
can you,
be.
okay, so we'll need you to say your name, which you already have, and then your address.
Ivo Jones, 1 Redbud Drive, Conway, Arkansas.
Okay? Oh, yeah, so we will start actually with Tara, and she's going to present it from the city point of view. Sorry.
No problem.
And then we'll go from
This is my first meeting, so
there.
Welcome.
thank you.
So as stated, this is 824 Davis Street. It is in the Robinson District. The proposal is for new construction on a vacant lot. During the recent storms, a tree fell on the existing residence, and so it was removed. And the previous single-family residence was a bungalow built in 1927. It was non-contributing. The applicant is proposing a new 2,853 square foot single-family residence and there are going to be some corrections on the staff report as I have received updated site plans as of today. So I would like to point out that it is now a 729 square foot attached garage. So HVAC equipment will need to be screened. The front facade is proportional to the residence it replaces and other residences in the area, as it mimics or echoes a bungalow of that time frame without necessarily being like a replica. No fencing is proposed. If the applicant would like to construct a fence, it will need to go through HDC. So I want to make a note of that in the future. Okay. The roof is appropriate. The materials and finishes, the proposal includes brick, 6-inch shiplap siding, and board and batten accents. In addition to brick, the material types will need to be wood or fiber cement. Synthetic siding such as vinyl, aluminum, and synthetic stucco are prohibited. It is complementary to the neighborhood. The door and window types are not indicated on the plans. They will need to be true divided light. Bake muntin bars are prohibited. There appears to be fixed windows in the attic, which are styled as dormers, and staff finds that these are supportable. There also appears to be some fixed windows in the bathrooms, but everything else appears to be 3/1. And as stated, those will need to be true divided light. Okay.
And also, I need one, the shiplap siding is LP, and it will be 8-inch, not 6-inch.
Okay, that's fine.
It's 8-inch.
Staff is saying that's fine.
Well, I'm just making that small correction.
Thank you. For landscaping, this is a narrow lot that doesn't really have a lot of room for landscaping. Previously, it had very simple landscaping, and because one canopy tree did fall on the previous house, there does not appear to be any other significant trees that'll be impacted by development. Regulations require the planting of one canopy tree for this new development. The front setbacks conform to the 85%, between 85% and 115% of the average front setback in the neighborhood. The side yard setbacks conform. The rear setback that was originally presented was only 3 feet, which needs to be 5 feet per the fire code. The applicant has submitted updated site plans showing that they will conform to 5 feet. The lot coverage previously, with the previous submittal, it was at about 62%. However, because there's been a reduction in the garage in order to conform to the 5-foot rear setback, that now brings the proposal down to approximately 59%. And the applicant is proposing ribbon driveway, which will also reduce that overall lot coverage and making the proposal in conformance with lot coverage requirements and no need for an exception by HDC. There is an existing sidewalk on Davis Street. If it is damaged during construction, it needs to be repaired. Regarding mass scale and height, the front facade matches the scale of homes in the neighborhood. The length of the residence exceeds the established pattern of the neighborhood as it is 133 feet long. The height of the structure is compatible with the neighborhood. In terms of complexity of form, it conforms. The neighborhood is a mixture of bungalows, minimal, traditional, and mid-century ranch. The garage is located at the rear of the primary structure and is accessed via a long driveway, which runs along the side of the residence. It is larger than historical garages. It is not visible from the street, and the detailing echoes that of the residence. No lighting has been indicated, but the project is conditioned to ensure low-level lighting that doesn't go onto surrounding properties. And the recommendations are as follows. Number 1, applicant must obtain all applicable building permits if when a certificate of appropriateness is granted. Applicant shall provide proof of appropriate licensure of professionals performing work to the building permits department. Number 2, HVAC equipment shall be screened from public right-of-way through its positioning in relation to other structures or through vegetative cover. Number 3, prior to issuance of a certificate of appropriateness, applicant shall provide planning staff with a site plan indicating the residence adhering to 5-foot rear yard setback. Number 4, roofing shall be asphalt or composition type shingles. Metal roofing is not allowed. Number 5, siding shall be composed of brick and wood or wood-like materials such as hardy siding, LP smart side. Driveway shall be 8 feet to 10 feet in width and composed. And I'm recommending some edits to that which was presented originally because of the applicant meeting the 60% threshold, and to ensure that is met, as they are at 59%. Driveway shall be 8 feet to 10 feet in width and be composed of concrete ribbons, concrete ribbons were indicated on the recently submitted site plan. Number 7, windows must be true divided light. Fake Muntin bars are prohibited. Fixed windows are allowed in the bathroom areas and in the attic dormers. All other windows must be at least 1/1. Number 8, 1 canopy tree from the approved tree list must be planted in the front yard outside of the public right-of-way. Number 9, if the existing sidewalk is damaged during construction, it must be repaired. And number 10, lighting shall be inward, downward, and shrouded to stay within the bounds of the property.
Okay. Now we'll kick it back over to you.
Can we get a list of those trees?
Absolutely.
We're wanting to do a sugar maple or a red maple, but I don't see anything on there that we haven't adhered to, that we made the changes early on. The roof will be asphalt most likely, just, a nice thick profile roof, but it'll be asphalt shingles. And like I said, it's an 8-inch LP siding. And the driveway will be 8 foot. It is an 8-foot ribbon driveway. And far as landscaping, it's not shown in the plans, but there is plans to do outside the side porch between the garage and all. There's a small there, of course, the front flower beds at the front. And her yards are beautiful at her home in Maumelle. So she'll all that up. And if there's any questions anybody needs answered, be the only thing that I could think. And we are going to screen the heat and the air. If it's not completely out of sight, it will be screened.
Okay. Do we have anybody else here to speak in favor? Okay, do we have anybody here to speak against the project? All right, now we'll open it up for commissioners. Do we have any questions, concerns, thoughts?
I'm gonna motion to approve with recommendations and edits.
I'll second.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you all.
It's gonna be a beautiful project.
We look forward to making a beautiful home in downtown
Absolutely.
Raleigh.
Good.
We should have that certificate of appropriate
Yes,
within the next 24 to 48 hours, and I'll include the approved tree list with that.
perfect. That would be great. Thank you.
All right, next up, we have 2002 and 2006 Wayne Street.
Okay.
Yeah, whoever's here for that. And again, we'll start with Tara telling us all about it, and then we'll take it back over.
Okay, for 2002 Weems Street, 2002 and 2006 Weems Street, there is a pending subdivision for this property. So that is why on this proposal, you will see 2 residences on 2 separate parcels. And that just needs to be filed with the county clerk. It's been approved. The house needs to be demolished, and then the plat can be filed, and then there will be the 2 separate parcels with these 2 residences. It is located in the suburban zone of the old Conway Design Overlay District. The applicant is proposing to demolish an existing residence and subdivide the approximately 0.32 acre parcel into 2.16 acre lots and construct 1 single-family residence on each lot. The subdivision is a separate application regulated by the zoning code and subdivision ordinance. The proposed single-family residences are identical at 1,826 square feet each. Both residences conform to the setbacks and spacing regulations. The lot coverage is 30%, so it conforms. The front doors face the street in a similar fashion to other residences in the neighborhood. No garage, carport, or outbuilding is proposed. They have indicated driveways off Weems Street, which terminate at the front of the residences. I saw this in other residences on Weems Street, including 2 recently constructed residences. The applicant is proposing the 5-foot sidewalk. No fencing is proposed. It appears numerous significant trees will be impacted by the construction. However, the site plan does not specify which trees will need to be removed. Each canopy tree removed is required to be replaced by a canopy tree from the approved tree list. The lot sizes and right-of-way will be dedicated through the subdivision, and lot sizes aren't exactly in conformance with the subdivision regulations. However, a variance has already been issued, reducing the lot depth requirement. The scale of the proposed structure is compatible with the scale of structures in the area. It's a two-story house, and the regulations say that new buildings should be compatible in height to surrounding historic structures, typically not more than one-story differential. And so a lot of the structures are one single story, and this is a one-story difference. It meets the complexity of form. Regarding the facade wall area and rhythm, additional windows are recommended to meet the 25% to 40% of the front facade and to enhance the overall rhythm. The proposed porches are 5 feet in depth, and they need to be 6 feet in depth. The elevations indicate 4/4 panes. Fake Muntin bars are prohibited, so it needs to either be 1/1 or have true divided light. The materials are appropriate, and HVAC equipment will need to be screened from view. The staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions. Number 1, applicant must obtain all applicable building permits if when a certificate of appropriateness is granted. Applicant shall provide proof of appropriate licensure of professionals performing work to the building permits department. Number 2, prior to issuance of a certificate of appropriateness, the Shira replat, subdivision number noted, needs to be filed with the Faulkner County Clerk. Number 3, windows shall be at least 1/1. Fixed windows are prohibited. If Muntin bars are used, they must be true divided light. 25 to 40% of front elevation must contain windows. Prior to issuance of a COA, revised elevation showing additional windows shall be approved by planning staff. Number 5, the porch must be at least 6 feet deep. Prior to issuance of a COA, revised plans showing a 6-foot deep porch must be approved by planning staff. Number 6, driveway shall be concrete, pavers, or permeable paving and between 10 feet and 12 feet wide. Number 7, prior to an issuance of a certificate of occupancy, a 5-foot wide sidewalk shall be constructed. Number 8, care should be taken to preserve all significant trees on the property. Any canopy tree removed must be replaced by a canopy tree from the approved tree list. If canopy trees cannot be replaced due to power lines, understory trees shall be planted along Weems and Watkins Street with a spacing of 1 tree every 30 feet and at least 1 canopy tree planted in the backyard. Number 9, lighting shall be inward, downward, and shrouded so as to stay within the bounds of the property. Number 10, HVAC equipment shall be screened from public view. And number 11, siding shall be composed of brick, stone, wood, or hardy siding, LP Smart Side type siding.
Thank you. You're welcome. So who is here to speak in favor? Please state your name and your address.
Edgar Castillo, 2245 Rosemary Drive.
Okay. So we'll just get started with, did you have any questions on the proposal recommendations?
I don't have any questions. The windows will be 1/1, and I talked to Tara about adding additional windows to meet the requirements.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Okay. Anybody else here to speak in favor? You want to go on record?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Anybody here to speak against? Okay, so we'll open it up for the commission to talk. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
I'm just out of curiosity. Just complete curiosity. Why the why create a new subdivision down on these 2 houses? What was the reasoning behind it?
So the house currently has a lot of floor damage to be a crawl space. And so for us to fix it, I mean, it cost quite a bit of money just to get it fixed. And then a lot's pretty big. And so we can't find any more lots in Conway, especially in downtown Conway, where a lot of people want to move to or live. And so we figured if we could demo that house and make it into 2 lots and make 2 nice homes, I think that would benefit not only the neighborhood, but also fix that house that's currently sitting on the property.
Yeah, I was just curious. I didn't know if you just could have two legal descriptions, you know? But that leads to my second question, which is the house that's being demoed, what's the age of that one?
1917, so at least 90 years.
90?
90.
1917? So does that not have to come through us?
Demolition in the overlay does not have to go
Doesn't
through
overlay,
HGC.
yeah. Like, it doesn't matter, we can't stop that, like, go and demo that, yeah.
That's correct.
There's nothing to do about it.
Okay. Don't let me hog the questions.
No, is it a contributing, I mean,
It's overlay, so
No.
there's no contributing versus non-contributing.
Okay. My only other thought, and I wanted to throw this out there. I don't remember if y'all remember the two houses that sat side by side on Scott Street. They came to us with the same floor plan, the same elevation on the outside. And we proposed two different elevations, same floor plan, but two different front elevations so that it didn't look like, because there's not two houses side by side in the historic district that look alike. So personally, when I was reading over it, that's what I would like to see is just two separate elevations from the front.
well, and not only that, I feel like the outside, based on some of the window additions and some of the materiality and things that we're seeing, I think another round of design wouldn't be bad to kind
Yeah.
of flesh out the level of detailing on the outside.
Yeah, and we did make, there was two on, do you remember that on Scott Street that we had them come back and switch up the materials just to make it look like, so it's not a cookie cutter
Yeah.
back to back.
The floor plan doesn't have to change necessarily, but, and I appreciate that you guys flipped it around, you know, mirrored the plans from one to the other, but I think just to provide some complexity of form. And then even as we read through some of these, like and this is just a general note, not to pick on you guys by any means, but if we can make sure that applicants are showing where the canopy trees are to be located, I think that's probably something, I feel like that's a recurring thing that we're asking them to provide those, but we never see them actually on the.
We
on
used
the
to.
section.
I don't know what happened.
Like, I mean, like every 30 feet, like, I don't know if that means that they can share one on the property line, and then we have an easement over here to contend with. So where those are located, I think need to be thought through.
Have you guys thought about switching it up and having two different looks?
We have, just the way the lot is shaped, I think that just makes it the best format, but for now, I know the exterior for sure is not gonna be the same. I know the planning is showing flip, but one's gonna be made out of fully brick, then the other one's gonna be a brick hardy. But we can, whatever y'all recommend for us to switch maybe the base of it, so it doesn't look exactly the same, we are willing to do that too.
I mean, that's all I was asking, don't you think? I'm asking you, the architect.
Yes. I mean, we like the complexity of form, especially in a downtown setting. And with you guys having a corner lot, I know there's an efficiency to replicating the same floor plan, but if there's an opportunity to base one of on Watkins, and I'm not as familiar with the actual neighborhood, if that even makes sense legally.
That would make sense for the
Legal
subdivision.
Right, I accept that. But that'd be the only other thing I would consider, but that'd be designing a whole other floor plan as well. But I think if you could have.
We could kind of adjust, so like you see the front porch that's coming kind of overhang, we can make that into like a gable and then offset it. So it can be two gables on the front, if that makes it
So even the one,
better for you guys.
we are not here to design your project, but we are just here to, I think, kind of speak to bringing the variety and the richness back to the historic.
Yeah, I think just anything you can do to make that differentiation, which I appreciate you explaining that the materials will be different. But yeah, just adding, I think, little details, like a gable would be beneficial. Like they said, so we don't drive by and it's like, the Twilight Zone where we see double, so.
So knowing that, I don't know how to proceed, because we can't approve it as is, right? So do we just table it until?
If you would like to see the updated design prior to the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness, then this would need to be tabled and then
Yeah.
brought back in December. If you want planning staff to look at it, then
On Scott
So-
Street, we made them come back. What are you gonna say? Sorry.
I'm nothing. So we've done that. I remember, was it a garage or something that we asked for planning commission to look at it?
Yeah.
And then you guys approved to make sure it was what the spirit of what we were wanting.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with staff approving, as long as those differentiations are made. You know,
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
I think that's
You-
fine, as
you
long
do
as
that.
staff is okay with that. Are y'all
I'm-
okay with that? Okay.
I mean, you understand like
Yeah.
do you understand where we're coming from? I mean, the whole uniqueness of downtown is that there's not,
Same.
houses, the same
Mhm.
thing. I mean, that it's different. So
Well, I will say, I mean, and I totally agree, but just, I mean, 2 houses down, you have 2 identical houses.
Yeah, we want to avoid that.
We will adjust that if we can get it approved and y'all recommend that, then we will go with your recommendation and just change it. when we
I'm-
do that.
I move that we accept staff recommendation with the requirement that the planning staff approve further differentiation of the 2 structures to ensure complexity and variety.
I'll second.
Can I ask a question? So like if they come to you and it's not, so it's your call, whether or not they're,
That would be,
that's your, so if you don't feel comfortable with it, then what does it come back to us in December?
yeah, so if I receive
Mhm.
something and then I am looking at this saying this is not the complexity of form that, the Historic District Commission had, displayed was their intention, then I would recommend that the applicant apply for the December.
Mhm.
which
That
is
makes
what
sense.
happened with one of the people tonight. Yeah.
So I have a motion and a second.
Yeah, that was just discussion. So.
Thoughts? More? Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
I thought you were gonna cough like when first I got, it's already.
There's a frog in my throat, I apologize.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. All right, next up, we have 2005 Park Rider Street, sign variance. Who's here to speak for that? What did I say?
2005.
Sorry, 2055 Park Rider Street.
That sounds fine.
You're more than welcome to stay there if you want to step up to the table, but we will start with Tara kicking it off.
Okay. This property is located in the suburban zone of the Old Conway Design Overlay District it is the Hortons gas station. The applicant is proposing to construct a 7-foot 4-inch by 8-foot 3-inch freestanding sign. This is a fuel sign for Hortons Express, which indicates the fuel company logo, Valero, with a digital display of fuel costs. The regulations state that signs need to adhere to the Article 12 of the City of Conway zoning ordinance. There is a specific caveat in that for signage district-wide, and that is the one exception to the aforementioned guideline is for the area measurement for those signs most commonly referred to as freestanding signs. A freestanding sign is a sign supported permanently upon the ground by poles or braces and not attached to any building. In the district, they shall not exceed 16 square feet in area per side and a maximum height of 4 feet without an exception granted by the HDC. The proposed sign is 8 feet tall and approximately 60 square feet in area, which requires an exception by the HDC in order to be installed. The sign is typical for fuel stations and is located on a major thoroughfare at the corner of the historic overlay and other commercial businesses on Park Rider Street. Staff recommends approval of the sign with the following conditions. Number 1, applicant shall adhere to the regulations outlined in Article 12, Sign Code of the Conway Zoning Code. Number 2, landscaping is required around the base of the sign. And number 3, sign shall be located out of the right-of-way and at least 5 feet from the property line.
Perfect, thank you. So, please state your name and your address.
I'm Jimmy Parker, 20 Los Navas Lane, Hot Springs Village.
Okay.
And mine sounds pretty easy compared to what you've been talking about. We're asking for a monument style sign at this location. We're trying to be consistent with the Valero brand. These are the top structures that you will see when a monument sign is recommended by the city. It's pretty consistent with the standard. The only thing that I would say is that regarding the landscaping, since we are going to bring this down to the ground level, we can definitely do some landscaping, but we won't be able to do flowers or anything like that because we're literally going to have to sit on the ground to be as short as we are. So that would be, we'll obviously have some sort of flower bed or something in there, but nothing growing over the top because we're going to sit literally right on the ground. But we'll decorate it and keep it, where it doesn't have to be mowed. It will be digital display. There are 2 product pricers here. They're 12-inch LED signs that we're asking for on this location.
This is the same discussion we had with the Come and Go on Oak Street, and they had the same issues with the foliage. So I think I feel like they did pretty well with it. So if you want to do a drive by there and take a look at their.
We're familiar with that, and we're doing something very similar to that.
Okay, yeah. All right, is that all for you?
That's it.
Okay, is there anybody else here to speak in favor? Anybody here to speak against? All right, we'll open it up to the commission. Anybody?
Is the sidewalk on the north that they?
The sidewalk is complete.
Yeah,
Thank you very
I
much.
was just about to say
I was
something.
going to tell you how beautiful it was. I noticed it the other day.
All right.
This project has changed at least twice since I've been involved with it, so I think we got the final plan now.
I like to have somebody standing on the sidewalk in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Modeling
Yeah.
Celebration photos.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
And this isn't gonna, the location is far enough away from any curb cuts, so it's not gonna block view of traffic.
We purposely came back so that we weren't impeding traffic, if they were to pull up, we're sensitive to the fact that we don't want to block, someone pulling out of the drive there. So we come back what we feel is far enough to resolve that problem.
I'm going to motion to approve with recommendations.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
so
you.
much.
Love you. All right, next we have 565 Front Street. Take it away, Tara.
Okay. This is located in the central business district, the urban zone of the old Conway design overlay. The applicant is proposing an adaptive reuse of the former Conway block company location consisting of multiple concrete block and metal industrial buildings and office buildings and support structure and elements. This is Conway Social, which has been here before. It was approved, an iteration was approved on February 27, 2023, and then modifications were brought and approved on June 26, 2023. The applicant has stated that they are having to value engineer Conway Social pretty significantly to keep it in budget. Staff determined that the changes warranted review by HDC. We have printed out larger copies so that you can see the heights of the previous iteration that was approved in June and the proposal before you today. The changes include a reduction in height, the opening of some walls to provide an open air courtyard, and there's also material articulation changes and signage changes as well. It is in conformance to setbacks and spacing, especially considering that it is adaptive reuse, and they are going to be maintaining some of the existing structure. The height and the location of the urban zone makes it so that the proposed building heights are appropriate. There is one courtyard is proposed. It is interior to the building. It is open air along College Avenue and Front Street. The primary entrance is located interior to the site, abutting on-site parking. Any sort of most landscaping will be approved during the site development review process. Fences will need to be 70% open. There is a fencing proposed around the outside pickleball court. Let's see. There's no alley access to this lot. The applicant is proposing one curb cut at approximately mid-block on Front Street. The off-street parking is through there isn't a lot of on-street parking, so most of the parking will be off-street parking, and it'll require a shared parking agreement with a neighbor. There will be a dumpster enclosure. This is also something that will be further vetted during site development review. It is proposed center block in what is an appropriate manner. They will need to provide the gate material, the dumpster enclosure. Oh, I already said that. The design indicates roof-mounted mechanical equipment screened by an architectural metal screen. There seems to be an appropriate amount of articulation. During the June meeting, it was discussed that there isn't a lot of windows that we normally see. However, that's for both the internal aesthetics, not wanting the lights to shine in to patrons, as well as the adaptive reuse and trying to maintain those materials. The applicant shall confirm that proposed glazing meets transparency requirements. In addition to glass, the applicant is proposing to apply stucco over the existing CMU. Material must be a true stucco material. The applicant is proposing to use masonry, wood siding, architectural metals, glazing, stucco, metals, and a metal screen wall. And wood siding has been proposed and approved for each iteration of the project. The facades are appropriate. There's no overhead cover, but that's in large part due to its location and the adaptive reuse of the building. It is unclear if any exterior building or accent lighting is proposed other than string lights above the roof deck. This element will also be reviewed during site development review. During that process, we ensure that there isn't that encroachment of light onto neighboring properties. There's very specific guidelines about that. Signage is proposed on all but the west elevation and all complement the design character. All signage shall be permitted separately. HDC approval of the project design does not include approval of signage. And staff recommends approval with the following conditions. 1, applicant must obtain all applicable building permits. If when a certificate of appropriateness is granted, showing appropriate licensure of professionals performing work. Number 2, the property shall be replatted prior to issuance of building permits. Number 3, the sidewalks along Front Street and College Avenue shall remain in place and shall be replaced, repaired if damaged during construction. Number 4, landscaping requirements will be reviewed as part of the site development review. Additional landscaping may be required along the west facade and screen wall. Number 5, fencing proposed around the outdoor pickleball court shall be 70% open and shall be constructed of metal. Plastic, chain link, and wood are prohibited. Number 6, any material treatment applied to existing CMU be true stucco. EIFS is not permitted on any first floor areas. Number 7, 85% of all first-story glazing shall be transparent. Number 8, all signage shall comply with Old Conway Overlay District guidelines and regulations detailed in Article 12 of the Conway Zoning Code. All signage is permitted separately from all review and building permit processes. Number 9, some level of exterior building accent lighting should be provided. This element will be reviewed as part of site development review. And number 10, HVAC equipment be placed in a manner to minimize its visibility from the street and screened adequately.
Okay.
Good job.
Take a drink. Thank you. So who's here to speak in favor?
Brandon Rule, 5140 Barn Owl Cove.
Okay.
As Tara described, we've experienced some challenges over there with that existing structure. We've had to invest more money in the existing structure itself. The precast concrete tees that were previously a roof structure were inadequate and haphazard. Some of the block work, haphazard, not reinforced. So we've had to demolish a lot more than what we originally expected, which is incurring more cost to rebuild back some of those elements. In addition, we found that we're in a floodway area, so we're raising the floor of the building up 6 inches so we can ensure we don't have any water getting into the building. So all those things have required us to step back and reevaluate the overall scope. And so when she said that the value engineering, when it comes to that, when you're this far down the road with the project, there's basically two things you can do. You can cut scope or you can cut quality. So in effort to not cut any quality, essentially what we've done is remove the roof or change the roof design over the pickleball courts, gotten rid of the windows around those and the air conditioning for that program element. So it's just an open air covered pickleball court now, not a building of its own, and then remove the roof over the center courtyard. So in effect, basically those are the major changes. We've essentially changed one roof and took one roof off of that outdoor courtyard. And most of our materials stay the same. All the aperture percentages pretty much stay the same. It's just the changing of those two roof structures.
Okay.
We're good with the recommendations. I did have one ask, number 2, if we could potentially change that replat prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy rather than issuance of the building permits. We have some concern that we can't get that completed before we go to permit review. So if you guys would be willing to consider we will definitely get it replatted, but if we could push that to before we get CO, that would be awesome. That would help us out a lot.
Does the plating affect like setbacks or anything that would need to be reviewed during the building permit application phase? That would be my only concern with that, is that if.
I mean, I think that since it's an established lot, you're not looking at any right-of-way dedication, probably. I mean, we've already talked about the corner, that we won't radius that because it would cut into the building. I don't foresee that being an issue.
Okay. Any questions of me?
Not yet.
Okay.
Anybody else here to speak in favor? Anybody here to speak against? Okay, so we'll open up to the commission.
I think I understand value engineering, maybe too well sometimes. But I think it's a fine substitution for where we started in June, or what we had approved in June. And I appreciate the effort to keep the project going for sure. My curious, nosy question is it being designed in such a way that space could ever be conditioned so that we could infill windows and provide it?
Yes, Mr. Frost definitely wants it to be enclosed. Yeah, so we're that pre-engineered metal building roof, we're looking at between a 3 and 4 foot overhang. Those existing walls are not perpendicular. None of them are square. So we have to do the overhang to accommodate that skew in the existing walls. But yes, we're making it overhang those existing walls so that we can infill that with glass in the future. That's the hope.
What's the under, again, y'all stop me, nosy. What's the roof?
Flat white soffit. So I've got a few renderings here that might elaborate on that. That's all right.
Yeah.
I didn't print them.
I'm not upset about this. We can share.
And y'all can thumb through these. There is a rendering from the street view, and then I think I've got one from that interior courtyard that shows that flat panel. There you go. With and then some of those first renderings are kind of nice. They're
It's so cool.
photoshopped onto the existing context so you can kind of see the scale of it. But yeah, white flush metal panel. So we want it to be reflective so we can get a lot of light bounce that bounces off that floor. A lot of ambient light bouncing back from the ceiling. And clean and white, we're doing the flush panel so we can try to avoid any birds or critters getting up in the ceiling up above the entrance.
Metal roof?
Yes.
Yep. Cool. I dig it.
What's your estimated time of completion? Assuming that's what it's.
We're hoping to get done with it in about 8 months if we can get through permit review next month.
I move that we accept the staff recommendations with the amendment that we change number 2 to the property shall be replatted prior to issuance of certificate of occupancy.
I'm assuming that's okay with the city. That's y'all's process.
If it was creating a new lot that wasn't previously established, I think it would be a different conversation, but it's pretty bound by all the elements.
What's driving the replat then? What's driving the need for the replat? Just use or?
Site development review.
Is it been previously platted?
My guess would be no, since that's a requirement. Or
I mean, that's.
like the previous configuration was likely maybe
I think that's what it
Yeah.
is.
and it's been
It's one of the
reparceled and
larger
now is
parcels.
oriented a different way.
Yes,
Yeah. Mhm.
that's right. It was
Portions of
multiple
lots,
parcels, yeah.
right,
And then
yeah.
when the reconfiguration of college came in.
Right,
it
the
hasn't been
realignment
replatted
of the
since then.
road changed. Mhm. It's basically like cleaning it all up and making it one good lot.
I'll second the motion.
All right,
Sorry, I don't
sorry.
think we got it done.
That's okay.
Before we jumped in.
No, that's an important question.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Exciting stuff.
Again,
I bought my
It
first
still looks-
third time's a
pickleball
charm.
set. I got some paddles, yeah.
It still looks really good. Like,
It
I actually
does.
like this better.
Thank
Do you
you.
need these back?
I mean, not
don't want you to.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, that'll.
Yeah, it's still, and that was our desire to try to keep all the program elements that they intended to, the outdoor courtyard, the rooftop. We did scale back the rooftop a little bit. It's probably 40% reduction in that area. So, yeah, we feel like we still have all the same offerings.
I agree.
And still a pretty building.
It is.
All right.
Close to submitting for permit? Again, I'm being nosy now.
Go ahead.
I'm being nosy. Are you close to?
We're running
Like
SDR right now, so if we
Looking at
can,
me.
whoever's overdoing it, if we can hustle through SDR, we would like to go to permit on the first.
We had to pause that to allow for
Yeah.
this. Now we can resume that.
And parking, like, I've read that over and over. I mean, do you guys have a plan? I know you have to share parking.
Yeah, Lauren, can you go back to that floor plan? So what you're not seeing right there, so that's our on-site parking there
Yeah.
to the left of the page, or what would be north.
Mhm.
That dentist, forgetting his name, he has that entire gravel lot there.
Dr. Simon, yeah, that's my
Yeah,
dentist.
and Mr. Simon has agreed that everyone can park there. Obviously their office hours are probably going to be much different than this facility.
Mhm.
And then there's been conversations with Covington across the street to the east and then St. Joe to the south. So there'll be some overflow in those other areas, but we hope that if ever Mr. Simon decides to sell that lot,
Mhm.
folks will probably purchase it, expand the parking over there.
Okay.
Yeah. But for now, we're gonna wrap some landscaping around it and try to hide it and make it pretty.
Well, we're all waiting with bated breath.
Us too.
Thank you
Oh,
guys so
thank you.
much. We
There you go.
appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
So next we have our scheduled meeting dates. And it looks like we have an asterisk next to May 29th, which is Memorial Day, right?
It was moved to accommodate Memorial Day.
Ah, thank you. All right. Anything else that stood out that we need to be aware of?
Holiday stuff.
Yep. Okay, do we need to approve this?
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the scheduled meeting dates as shown.
I don't think I can second, because can I? Even though I'm
You're
not really on the
still here.
commission? Yeah, okay, I'll second.
I need you to, because I can't. Any other discussion?
I didn't know how that worked.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Do we have our new people yet?
I don't know.
We have a meeting,
December 5th.
yeah, December 5th, oh no.
Okay, and I guess our new people can't be officers? I mean, are we supposed to elect officers tonight?
Well, like the planning commission, sort of put off the election of officers until their December meeting,
Mhm.
they voted on
not the secretary.
That's,
Ethan's the secretary.
I was just
Oh,
hoping,
that's right. They did end up doing that. I'm sorry. There was discussion about putting it off, but they didn't.
I was just hoping we had somebody, if there was somebody new that just wanted to be secretary, you know, that just loved being secretary.
Well, obviously, I'm not a very good one. I've got some things going on, but still.
I mean, I don't really feel like it's right to do officers tonight when there's
Yeah, I
just
mean, when
three
you
of
have
us
Mary
here.
Ann and Shane missing.
Well, Shane won't be here next year either.
Oh, okay.
Normal Mary Ann.
And Marion, I'm sorry?
Normal Mary Ann.
Really?
She was just a fill-in.
She was
term.
filling a vacancy.
But I thought she was gonna reapply.
We don't know if she.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Oh, I got
We don't
you.
know who all-
So really, it's the three of
Yeah.
us.
Well, I mean, I'll do it. Like I said, my father has been diagnosed with terminal cancer. Yes,
Oh, God.
6 months. So I've been dealing with some things, but I've kind of got my mind around it
Mm.
now. And so like 2 months are in her inbox, and then 2 more months will be in now. The only thing I worry about is my January and February, and well, whenever there'll be some. I might be absent some next year. So,
Oh, first of all, I'm so sorry to hear
Thank
that.
you.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Audience,
wanna put it on.
but yeah, but that is that's part of the reason why I'm not just like jumping up and being like,
Yeah.
yes, I'll do it. I mean, I will do it if we need to. If somebody be like willing to step in and fill in for me,
Yeah.
in the occasion that I have to be absent.
And could we have her as an interim until we get?
That's
new-
what
That's
we
what-
did
That's a good
last year when I was secretary for the 20th time.
But you were so good at it.
But Jenny, we just, like, I was formally named secretary, but we rotated when
Yeah.
things got busy.
I will. Then
Yeah.
you can just nominate me.
Yeah.
I'll be formal secretary.
They just needed somebody's name
I mean,
to go in.
After I finish the 2 tonight, I'll like have it completely down. So it's not hard. It's not a hard job.
I'm gonna motion to,
I'll keep it unless you want it. I'll keep chair.
Do you want
What'd
to
you
switch?
You do
You do
job.
great.
You do a great job.
You are. Yeah, I really appreciated you responding to the email.
Oh,
That was really
thanks.
good.
Then I'll
Thank you.
motion to elect Emily Walters chair, Liz Hamilton as vice chair, and Jenny Davis as secretary.
Second.
How long is y'all's terms? Are they 5 years?
For 3 years.
6. Oh, I'm sorry, 3. Yes.
2, yeah.
So this next year will be my last year.
That makes sense.
I think you're on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're on your.
Liz has
second.
another
Okay.
year. I
Mhm.
think, yeah.
I'll just-
Yeah,
I'll
she's
keep
1
that
year
until
on.
you
Run
leave. Keep me on.
2 3-year terms back to back.
Mhm. And then you
You
have
have
to
to
take a
renominate.
year off. You're not allowed to serve 3 back to back. So yeah.
Did I have one more?
You're on your second term now. I don't know exactly when you expire. I could tell you after the meeting.
So we have a motion, a second. This is awkward. We have a motion,
Yeah,
a second.
we voted on
Oh.
ourselves. Like, you
Yeah.
never do that.
Any discussion on us? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I feel like I
Such a
just
new
elected
person with
myself
it.
prom queen.
I'll-
same.
And I'll motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So